and to obtain the necessary services that they may be eligible for. So the webinar today will be in a listen-only mode, and what that means is when we have time at the end, hopefully the last 2 or 3 minutes for any questions, you'll just have to type the questions into the chat box as some of you have already started doing this afternoon. Okay? So without further ado, we'll get started. I'm going to just put up a quick page with my contact information, so if anyone has any questions after the webinar, you can certainly reach out to me by email or by phone. I'm happy to continue to work with anyone who may want additional training on the website or just questions unique to the resources that we might look up today. So 211 is operated with support from the Connecticut Department of Social Services, and DSS does support this initiative of bringing these webinars to you on various topics which were identified by a group of pediatric providers. So I would like to thank DSS and also our partners with CHN, who had a great deal of help in getting these webinars started and planned and rolled out to all of you. So we greatly appreciate the assistance of CHN in this effort. So during the webinar this afternoon, I'm going to show you again how to navigate our website to find resources for individuals and families who need assistance paying for their electric or gas bills. I'm going to show you the eligibility criteria for the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program, a benefit which helps low-income households pay for their primary source of heat. And then I'm going to also take a look at some of the energy conservation and weatherization programs that are available in Connecticut. So in addition to the work that I do here at 211, I also serve as our representative on the Low Income Energy Advisory Board. So the topic of utility assistance is certainly near and dear to my heart, and it is actually one of the top 5 requests that we receive here through our 211 call center, usually every year. It's within the top 5. So just a little bit of quick statistical information for you in terms of calls into 211 relating to utility assistance. In fiscal year 2015, we received 26,789 calls related to utility assistance. And in fiscal year 2016, that number was 25,053 calls related to utility assistance. And those are statewide numbers for across Connecticut. Okay, so we're going to jump right into the website. For those of you who have never used our website before, the web address is www.211ct.org. We've recently undergone some enhancements to the website. So for those of you who were previously familiar with the site, we have made a lot of changes, which I will show you this afternoon, but the web address has remained the same. So there's a couple of ways to search our website. For the sake of the demo this afternoon, I'm going to start with one of our category searches, only because it's a fairly organized place to take a look at just the resources unique for utility assistance. Towards the end, if I have time, I'll show you the other ways to look up information on the site. But for today, I'm going to start with utility assistance as the category. So right underneath the homepage here, the top of the homepage, are our categories. And I'm going to choose utility assistance. And you'll see we have a few links already preset for users to help them clearly identify the resources that are available. Now just know that this is not the complete full list of resources related to this topic. It is just a slice, but the ones that are here are ones that are fairly heavily utilized by our callers that contact us, by our contact specialists who provide referrals. And at this time of year, when a lot of these programs have begun and are starting to take applications, these are the ones that are most relevant right about now. Okay, so we're just going to take a look here under this category, utility assistance, and just to start things off, I'm going to choose utility disconnection protection. what you'll see happen is the links are already preset to serve the entire state of Connecticut, but in a moment I'll show you how this can be changed. So what comes up in this list here are most of the winter protection programs. So winter protection runs from November 1st until May 1st, and this is every year, and it will protect someone from a non-heat or heat shutoff between the winter moratorium. This is a requirement per state statute for this time of year. Now, it doesn't mean that someone doesn't have to pay the bill. They should still continue to pay their bills, but what it means is that they will not be shut off during this time frame, November 1st to May 1st. This is a program that clients have to apply for every year. So you'll see there's 12 resources that come up, some of them through local town public utilities, but then we have the UI, United Illuminated, in the southern portion of the state, and then you'll see the Eversource records that are more for the north central and eastern part of the state. So this program is available, again, as I showed you a second ago. If you click more details and see the descriptive text here and the eligibility information, it is a fair amount of information, but it's very important to know if you're talking with someone about this program to ensure that they can take the appropriate steps. And as I mentioned, households must apply every year for winter protection. All the contact numbers are listed here within the details, this one being for Eversource. So that's the first program that I wanted to just bring your attention to. I'm going to go back for just a moment, back into the category. But as you can see here, there are some terms that we have categorized under a "you may also be interested in" heading. If we clicked on any one of these, it would bring us to that unique search. So I'm going to try utility budget billing and choose that. This again will be set statewide. There's 8 resources available statewide, and most of these will link back into the utility providers. So again, UI and Eversource are the top 2 here. This is just another type of a payment arrangement which helps to balance out the monthly payments that one makes. They base it on an average of usage for 12 months, and then they come up with a budget. So some of you may know of that program yourselves, but it is another option for utility assistance for customers. Okay, I'm going to go back a couple of clicks here, just into the category. Okay, and right here under energy assistance, there are a few different options that someone could apply for to help with their primary source of heat. So when we talk about energy assistance and the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program, this will assist someone who is having difficulty paying for their primary source of heat. So there are a few forms of heat that are covered: gas, electric, heating fuel, and this also covers deliverable fuels of other types. So wood, kerosene, propane, pellets, those are all included under the heating fuel term. So kind of keywords to remember here are gas, electric, and fuel. But all of these will bring up return a list of results for you. So I'm going to choose gas service payment. Again, it's a statewide list. You're going to see there's a lot of options. So there's multiple sites that take applications for the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program. And you can see there's 243. These are administered through the community action agencies. For the sake of this, I'm going to narrow this down significantly. Okay, I'm going to put in a zip code. So in this geography box here, you can put a zip code, a town, a city, or even an address, and it will narrow it down to the resources that serve that area of the state that you have isolated. I'm going to choose 06112 and click search again. And we'll see here for gas service payment assistance, there are 6 resources. Now, in certain communities, there may be smaller nonprofit organizations that can provide help on a one-time basis with a very small amount of money. For those, I would just say to read the details very carefully, like this first option, the Heart of God Healing Center. The criteria for these are usually very, very specific, either based on population that they serve or area that they serve. I'm going to scroll farther here to show you the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program. This one is operated out of the Community Renewal Team, or CRT, at the Market Street Family Service Center address. If we expand the details here, it's a lot of eligibility criteria for this program. The main factor that is used is that someone has to be at or below 60% of the state median income. In just a moment, I'm going to show you what that looks like so you have a sense. And I can show you how to find it so you can print that if you'd like to be able to adequately screen people if that's something you have the capacity to do. So again, looking at all the details is very important. I know this may seem a bit overwhelming, but the program is very, very specific. I'm going to go back to the results here. Let's say you're working with a family and you have identified these 2 resources that look like a good fit for someone who needs help to pay the gas bill. We have a resource cart feature now where you can add this into a cart, and you see it starts to populate the cart here. I'm going to add the energy assistance, and then I'm going to just look one more further here and see if there's another option. So Operation Fuel is another option. I'll talk to that in a moment. I'm going to add Operation Fuel into the cart as well. So similar to how we use shopping carts on Amazon or other websites, the difference and the benefit of ours is that it's absolutely free. If we choose the My Resource Cart functionality, you're going to see here these are the 3 options we just populated. Once you're here, you can print this or you can share it. And when we say share, for the whole cart, that means by email. So you could plug in someone's email, write some comments to them to say, here are the programs we discussed. Don't forget to apply, and as soon as you hit send, it goes into their email. This is a nice way to keep things organized and in one place. Printing is also an option, but just remember that as soon as we print something, it becomes outdated. So emailing may be a better choice because when you get the email link, it'll point you right back into the database, and it will be a live feed of the information. Okay, so we've got our resource card. I'm just going to go back to the search. I'm going to show you the Operation Fuel information and let you know Operation Fuel is currently not accepting applications, but when it hits December 1st, they will be accepting applications to assist people with heating expenses. They have a grant of usually up to $5. They determine eligibility on a case-by-case basis, but they're wonderful who are struggling to make ends meet and left with challenging decisions between feeding their families or heating their homes to step in to assist in those scenarios. They actually have a website which you can click right here from our search results. Their web actually has a lookup tool to find the application sites in someone's area. So all you would have to do is use this drop down here and find the person's town and then find help. So if we chose Coventry, find help, you're going to see the fuel bank. Again, right now they are closed. I know that they don't have that type of language on their site at the moment. So come December, these sites will start to take applications, but you have the address, the phone number, and the hours of operation. And again, everything through this program is by appointment only. Okay, so that's an important program to remember. Because I mentioned 60% of the state median income, I'm going to show you how to access that chart, which you can use and print if you'd like. So I'm going to move up here to our Elibrary, which is a category of over 400 topical papers written initially with the intention to help our call center, but now we have publicized all of them on our website. They can be used anytime. They do get a lot of traffic on our site. I'm going to show you the Energy Assistance Utilities category, which is right here in the second column. And the first two are probably the most interesting to start with. I'm going to show you the state median income paper. Basically what this is going to show you is the chart. So for someone to qualify for the Connecticut State Energy Assistance Program, they would have to fall within this guideline right here. So if it's a household of 4, they would have to make at or below $65,155.20 to qualify for energy assistance. If they're at or below that, they will qualify. Unfortunately, if they're above that, that would disqualify them from the program. I'm going to go back. I'm going to choose the paper for the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program. So we looked at this in the database, but this is another version of that same information that is a little bit more friendly to the eye, I think, and can be printed. So this icon here is a PDF icon. You can convert this document into a PDF and print it. And this information will stay the same for this year, so there won't be too many changes to this. All of the details are here. Again, 60% of the state median, which you saw, how someone can apply. It will link back into our database to the list that I previously showed you, and also provide you with the checklist of documentation necessary, both English and Spanish. At the very bottom is the timetable for the program, which highlights when it begins and when it ends, and what the timetable is for when the authorizations are given and deliveries are made. Okay, so this is a great reference for anyone who's interested in this program, needs to know a little bit more about the program. This is an important paper to remember. So we found that again by going Elibrary, and the category is Energy Assistance / Utilities, and the top 2 are the papers that will probably be most relevant for this particular topic. Okay? I'm going to go back into our home page. So we use the initial search by the categories as a starting point, but there are 2 other ways to search our website, which I'll show you now. I'm going to come into the free text box here, and this is the place where you can type a phrase, a word, a program name, an agency name, and call that up in the system. So I mentioned the keywords are fuel, gas, and electric. So I'm going to type in the word electric, and there are 2 options. One is electric service providers. So someone just needs to know they've moved into a new area, they've come from out of state, they need to have electricity turned on in their house. That would be the term to use to know what company serves them based on where they live. And then electric service, payment assistance is the first one, and I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to put in New Haven and click search. And we'll see that there are 14 resources that serve New Haven for electric service payment assistance. This is an important term to remember because the utility companies have some specialized programs for people who are deemed hardship or who have delinquent balances. They do try pretty hard to work with their customers to avoid the shutoff. So there are various options for people based on eligibility. The first one being the matching payment program. This will help people maintain year-round service and pay down delinquent balances. It is a program that folks have to apply for and comply with. So they have to meet their matches on the program so that the company will then break down that delinquent balance. So these are for UI. This, again, Connecticut Energy Assistance Program, which we've looked at. Serving New Haven is the Community Action Agency of New Haven. They have various sites, so you'll see each one of those come up into the list. They have several. And then again, Operation Fuel will come up because they will help someone. It's usually based on either heat or non-heat. They specify that season to season. So if someone heats with oil, but they have an electric bill that's $1,000 and they're having difficulty paying it down, Operation Fuel could potentially step in to help for that with the electric. Okay? All right, I'm just going to scroll back up here. go back to the home page one more time. We wanted to make this website as user-friendly as possible. So we've seen 2 ways to search. I'm going to show you the third. This is a much more common language style approach so that people don't necessarily need to know the terminology or the program names that we use. They can come right here, right to about the center of the page. Unsure of what you're looking for, let us help. When we choose this option, we're going to see a drop-down. And these are statements based on need. I need a place to stay. I need food. My utilities are going to be shut off. I'm going to choose that one. The way that we formulated these statements are really based on the way that people present themselves to us when they call into 211. So I'm going to choose this one here and click Continue. It's going to ask me again for a city, a zip code, or an address. I'm going to put in a zip code of 06457 and choose Continue. And again, we have resources serving this zip code, some being Connecticut Energy Assistance, some being an organization like this one, Walter C. Jones Fund, some temporary financial assistance that can help with rent, utilities, things like that. Some of the programs that assist are unique to certain populations, so the Ryan White Part A is unique to individuals who are HIV positive. Again, Operation Fuel. And then we have this New Start Arrearage Forgiveness Program through Eversource, another program to help people pay down those delinquent balances while maintaining their service, their electric service year-round. And again, as UI has a program for matching payments, so does Eversource. They both follow the same type of guidelines for the program. And we talked up front about the winter protection, winter moratorium from November 1st through May 1st. Okay? There are other options as well, notification for customers with life support equipment. If you find some of your patients have medical needs that are require them to use electricity, for example, breathing machines, or someone who is diabetic and has insulin that needs to be refrigerated. If the condition is deemed life-threatening by a medical provider, so generally they accept doctors and I believe APRNs can also sign off, but doctors can fill out documentation to have someone be protected from shutoff due to their condition and need for electricity year-round. This is not something that just automatically happens. This is something that has to be re-upped every single year. So if you know of patients that fall into that, let me see here. The contact information is always available when you click into more details. The Eversource utility company has a portal for providers, specifically medical providers, off of their website, eversource.com. So please just keep that in mind. Again, the condition usually has to be deemed life-threatening, but a lot of people don't know that that exists. So oftentimes we hear of cases where people have been shut off and they truly need the services on for medical reasons. We do sometimes intervene in those cases. We have connections with individual staff at the utility companies for that type of need. So as all of you are providers in the community, please just keep that in mind as well. Okay, so we have about 5 minutes left on the webinar. I do just want to show you a few more quick pieces of our website. The website can be translated into any one of these languages. I'm going to show you very quickly simplified Chinese. You'll see everything but the map translates into Chinese. The map is powered by Google, so it's just a separate entity. But all the information here can be translated. This will print in this chosen language. Unfortunately, it doesn't carry through the email when you share it, as I mentioned, but it can be printed this way, even with the details. They will all translate. Okay? To get back to English, you can just show original. I'm going to go back to the results. Right here, so we're looking at Operation Fuel. Let's say you were on your mobile phone. This entire website is location aware and mobile friendly. You could call, you could view the website, you could get directions, which again are powered by Google, a really nice feature to help people know where they're going. Let's say you hear about something with Operation Fuel and you want to report an update. This is both for the general public and providers. We have a report update button where you can share information that may be incorrect in the database. It helps us keep this information as current as possible. We have 4,000 agencies in the database and about 40,000 services and programs. So we welcome any feedback all the time about these resources as things come up. Okay? The only other thing I'd like to show you, and then I will take some questions if anybody has them. Back to our home page here, I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom and just show you our 2-on-1 Navigator, which some of you may have seen before. This is a benefit screener. This tool was built here in-house at the United Way of Connecticut. It screens for eligibility for all of these programs here, mostly state and federal programs. It's a very basic screening tool, no social security numbers, birth dates, anything like that. It's completely neutral, family size, income size, household composition. When you hit submit, it will tell you might be eligible for. All of these links are hyperlinks either back into our database, so the resources that we've been looking at, or to Elibrary papers, which we also saw. And then just the final piece of things here, I showed you some of the keywords, again, fuel, gas, electric. I showed you the category. If you just typed in the word utility, you will see a fair amount of options here. Not all of them are what we looked at, but just as a starting point, if you start to type something in, you will see these drop downs as a point of reference. Okay? So I'm going to pause. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm just going to see if anybody has questions. I'm going to go back into the software here. If you have a question, please go ahead and type it in, and I'm sorry that if anyone has done that already. Nope, looks like not yet. I will take the next 2 minutes to answer any questions that you might have, either about the website or about the resources specifically. So if you have one, please go ahead and type one in, and I'm happy to answer. Okay, so it looks like there are no questions coming through, but as I started the presentation, I'll put my information back up here. If you do have a question, please don't hesitate to email me or call me. I'm happy to answer any questions. I hope that this information was useful for you today, and I really hope that when you have some time, you're able to use our website to try to look up information either statewide or for some of your patients or clients unique to their area, but please stay in touch as needed, and I really appreciate everyone's attendance today. It's a wonderful thing to be able to try to reach out through this platform, so I appreciate your time and your interest. Okay, so I'll keep the webinar open for 1 more minute. If anyone realizes that they have a question they want to type in after that minute. Oh, here's a question. What if a resource is not available near the patient? My Google Maps didn't show many near New Milford. That, unfortunately, is something that does come up both internally and externally on the web when people are searching. Based on the town, if it's a town that is maybe more rural or just doesn't have a lot of local resources, you may just want to expand the search to the closest town to New Milford, so the closest bigger city. And then once you do that, it will expand the resources, but I just caution you to check the resources to see if they may in fact serve for residents. It's a frustrating thing when we try to look up information for someone in a particular area and they are very slim. Linda, if you have a specific search you want to discuss with me after the webinar, I'm happy to just kind of replicate it with you. If it was one of the searches I tried or you were doing something different, But maybe just expanding the search and checking the details for coverage area to see would be my first thought. And then unfortunately, it just may be that some resources do not serve certain areas, unfortunately. Okay, I hope that answered your question, Linda. Thank you for asking. Yes, certainly get in touch anytime. So if anyone else has another question they'd like to share right here in this time, please go ahead and type it in. And if not, please feel free to get a hold of me. Thank you all very much, and I wish you a good rest of the day. Thank you, Kelly. Happy holidays to you and everybody else as well. I'm going to close down the webinar in just a moment. Okay, everyone, this concludes our time. Thank you again. Bye-bye.